Greetings. In this part of our discussion, we are shedding some light over some of the orders of God of Israel. Some of the orders, not all of the orders. We cannot cover everything. The book is this thick. Anyway, we said, all right, we reached Deuteronomy 20, chapter 20. Actually 21. And we reach a title says a rebellious son. A rebellious son. What is the judgment of the God of Israel and the law of the God of Israel standing facing rebellious sons? So, verse 18 says, if someone has a stubborn and rebellious son who does not obey his father and mother and will not listen to them when they discipline him. So we have a son who doesn't listen, stubborn and doesn't obey, doesn't listen, and he is rebellious. And we are talking 3,000 years back. For the last 3,000 years, those children have changed so much. Today we have devils, not real children anymore. No respect whatsoever. Rotten, miserable. And in the West, you cannot raise your children. They raise you according to their small brain. And thanks to 911, if the father or the mother, even yell, they will be taken to jail. Child abuse. And their child will be taken from them. They cannot raise the children anymore. So this is why, the children, are rotten and spoiled. I don't know what God of Israel would say about this if he gives commands and laws today. Yeah. So, if someone has a stubborn and rebellious son who does not obey his father and mother and will not listen to them when they discipline him, his father and mother shall take hold of him and bring him to the elders at the gate of his town. So this was the ritual back then, because it was a respectful society all days. Wonderful, so different from today. Respect, honor, and they cherish, the elders, and they adhere to the elders, old and young. They have someone to listen to. Not like today. They don't have anybody who is an elder with any respect whatsoever. So what will happen when they bring him to the elders? According to the God of Israel, this is the law. This is what they are supposed to do, according to him. Verse 20 says, they shall say to the elders, complaining about their son, explaining what's wrong with this child. This son of ours is stubborn. That's his crime. He's stubborn. I wonder what they will say about our children today. And rebellious. Wow. Today they are not rebellious. They are demon possessed. They answer back in a very stupid way. They answer their parents. They have no respect to anyone but themselves. Selfish. He will not obey us. He is a glutton and a drunkard. So, what are his crimes? See, 3,000 years back, those were the crimes. Major crimes. Compared to today. There is no comparison. Today, we are living in a dark age when it comes to stubborn children. So, stubborn, rebellious, will not obey, a glutton that eats a lot, and a drunkard that drinks a lot. What do you expect from such a child? such a son. He cannot talk straight. He cannot walk straight. He cannot. He is living, and today on drugs to make things even worse. Crack and the other stuff. I don't even know the names. Very well. So let's see what God says and what the elders will do about this son with those qualities, rotten qualities. And this is called rotten back then. Imagine if today, if we want to describe our sons today, how we will describe them. Verse 21 says, then all the men of his town are to stone him to death. Those are the crimes. To stone him to death for this? What will be the penalty for what our children in the West are doing today? What God would say? What? Stone him to death means, to die little quick. Stoning little quick. Chopping the head, immediately. But stoning is little quick. What he will say, the penalty for the children, our children today. Maybe cut them one piece at a time. Let them face death many times over. Because we did not raise them. And we cannot raise them. Thanks to the laws of 911 and the West that prevent us from raising our children properly. Very well. So then all the men of his town, all the men, imagine, it doesn't matter, maybe in hundreds or thousands, will stone him to death. They will keep stoning until they make sure he is dead. Execution. You must purge the evil from. This is why. This is the excuse why God is ordering this. The God of Israel. You must purge the evil from among you. You have to. One rotten apple, put it in a full stock, full storage of apples. It will spoil every other apple. None of them will stay good. All will rot. One apple, one bad apple. But we have the opposite. We are looking for the good apples in the whole storage today. So, you have to purge the evil from among you. Every evil. That's not only the only evil. God of Israel say, purge all the evil from among you. Then what? God says, God of Israel, all Israel will hear of it and be afraid. And this, remind me of a joke, a stupid joke. Two brothers from Turkey, with a Muslim father, he was a preacher, a Muslim preacher, and a Christian mother. And they left to the USA to preach lies about Islam. And one of the reasons they gave why they left Islam, because Islam say you have to be afraid from Allah, the Lord of Islam. Well, dear stupid, who made this kind of stupid excuse for leaving the light of the Lord into the darkness of Christianity. Over here, this verse 21 says, 21. It's easy for you to go remember and read it on your own. You are preachers. You are supposed to know this stuff. All Israel will hear of it and be afraid. Your new God, your Jewish Christian God, is pushing you to be afraid of him. So what's the next step? Where are you going to go next? All the other gods are miserable, rotten. You want to go to the Hindu? Worship the monkeys. the cows and the donkeys. You want to go there? Be my guest. You made one stupid, move, then you are used to it, to move to another stupid move. Stupidity is the way of life for you now. Go ahead. Now, another thing that, I noticed, that God is passing a judgment and, considering two qualities to be evil and rotten in any son of Israel. The fact he is a glutton and a drunkard. Glutton and drunkard. He drinks a lot and eats a lot. And according to the book of Matthew and the New Testament of the Christians, Jesus, speaking about himself, according to Matthew, this idiot, Matthew, he says that he claims that Jesus said, and now here comes the Son of Man eating and drinking, and they say, the Jewish rabbis, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they say about Jesus, here comes a man, a glutton and a drunkard. So Jesus is accusing himself or testifying upon himself, passing a testimony that he is a glutton and a drunkard, according to the law of God of Israel, his God. He was an Israeli. And all those stupid who say he was a Jew, they are liars. He was from the Levi tribe. But this is a different discussion. I'm not going to discuss today. He was a Levi. He was not a Jew. All the stupid who say that he was a Jew, they are lying. So according to the book of Matthew, accusing Jesus of saying this about himself, then according to the God of Israel, his God, he was an Israeli, he should be what? Verse 21 says, then all the men of his town are to stone him to death. He deserved execution. He should die. Jesus should be killed. He was a glutton and a drunkard. Go read it in the book of Matthew, in the New Testament. Therefore, according to the God of Israel, if your son is rebellious, stubborn, will not obey, a glutton and a drunkard, you have to collect an amount of people, an amount, 100, 200, 300, whatever. It's a town, the whole men in the town. And you should stone this man or this boy to death. Stone him to death for those evil qualities. And today, our children in the West are ever worse than this situation. The way they answer you back like a demon, like Satan himself, in a rotten attitude, thanks to the system and the number 911. You cannot even yell or make your voice loud. Otherwise, you will be taken to jail and your child will be removed from you. They will take your child. This is how rotten the system in the West is. Very well. So you have to stone all those children, rotten children that we are raising today, but we are not raising. It's actually the laws of the country are raising to be rotten and miserable and rotten spoiled. All right, then next time, with more of those laws and rules from the God of Israel and the Christians.